with the San Francisco 49ers chances of getting into the playoffs pretty much have evaporated right in front of us, that has kind of transitioned the conversation into what the 49ers need to do and how they need to start thinking about building out this roster to get back to competing for Super Bowls. And so, of course, the conversation has a huge target on Brock Purdy and his impending contract negotiation coming on up. We already heard from Diana Rossini earlier in the week, basically saying that the 49ers absolutely intend in engaging in uh, contract negotiations for the long term with Brock Purdy this offseason. And they still view him as a franchise quarterback, and they're going to continue to engage in those types of contract negotiations. Well, we've also heard from Tom Pelissero basically explaining what type of contract Brock Purdy will be after. Take a listen to what he had to say right here as he joined the Rich Eisen Show.
Well, with the Niners losing last night and essentially being eliminated from the tournament in which they had designs of defending their conference championship, Tom, the next decision for them, we all know, is going to be what to do with Brock Purdy, and let the debate begin. I can already see it crossing my screen amongst a lot of my competition this morning. It's the next order of business for the 49ers, and he shouldered a lot of the blame last night. Some of his teammates said it's not all on him, and they love him. Is he going to get the generationally enriching contract because it's his turn next, or will the Niners sit here and play a bit of hardball, if not even think about maybe moving on to somebody else? Like, what is the Brock Purdy question as we now have seen this season play out, Tom?
Well, first of all, I would say that was not a night that was kind to anybody playing quarterback. Matthew Stafford threw, I don't know how many balls directly to 49ers defenders, and they didn't catch them. Like, when you're playing in that weather, you're probably going to miss some throws. There's obviously some there that Brock Purdy wants back, but he also hits Debo in the hands on what should be a long touchdown. And Debo, who spent last week saying, hey, the problem's not me, the problem's I'm not getting the ball, repeatedly got the ball and didn't take advantage of it last night. It was a confluence of circumstances here. With Brock Purdy, I think you have to look at it in the aggregate here. In his short career, because he took over, as a seventh-round pick and took over late in the 2022 season, he's already got 13 games with a 120 passer rating, which is the most of any player ever over their first three seasons here. The efficiency numbers are really strong on him. And he's been a part of 4 playoff wins. I mean, the last two guys to reset the market were Dak Prescott and Lamar Jackson, who have 4 playoff wins combined. And wins are not a quarterback stat, but the point is they've found a way to win a ton of games with Brock Purdy. So the situation is this. He's eligible for a contract extension starting at the end of the regular season, which is in all likelihood at this point going to be the end of the season as a whole for the 49ers. He's a 7th-round pick, so there's no 5th-year option. So next year is a contract year. If a deal is going to get done, I would anticipate it is at the top of the quarterback market for all the reasons that I just said. Right now, that's Dak's number. That is $60 million per year. Are the 49ers willing to go to that? Or are they going to be in a situation where you could have a standoff with your starting quarterback into the offseason here? I mean, there's a lot of questions that still need to be answered here. There's no reason really for Brock Purdy to take a sub-market deal at this stage. The worst case would be, he could always play it out. Lamar Jackson did that once upon a time. You gain even more leverage by doing that. Brock also hasn't made as much money as Lamar by virtue of being a 7th-round draft pick. But I don't think this is a hey, we're going to make you the 10th highest paid quarterback, and Brock Purdy just saying, hey, where do I sign? He's, based upon his production, based on the playoff success, I'm sure he feels like he deserves to be paid at the top of the market. And then that raises other questions for the 49ers, which is you've got a pretty expensive roster. They got like 6 or 7 guys who are all due at least $15 million in cash in 2025. So what other things potentially could come, because you've got a very veteran, older, expensive core on that football team. One of the names we're going to be talking about is what's the future for Deebo Samuel. He's on the books for about $17 million in 2025. We know the 49ers got calls on him in a potential trade back before the draft. They were not at that point willing to part with him unless somebody gave him up just a crazy price for him. And he's one of Kyle Shanahan's favorite players of all time, maybe the favorite. But he's in a contract year. He's making a lot less money, half the money of what the top of the wide receiver market is at this point. Can they get another big wide receiver deal done? Or, potentially could Deebo Samuel be on the move? If Brandon Ayuk hadn't gotten hurt, we would have real conversations based on how everything transpired of 1 year after they finally got the deal done with Ayuk. Do they even, answer calls if somebody called for trading for him? That's not going to happen now because of the knee injury that he suffered. But there's a lot of moving parts for the 49ers. They're always going to be well coached with Kyle Shanahan. But this is just the nature of when you invest over and over in your best players and they're getting older and they become more and more expensive. At some point, there's little pivots that have to take place. And certainly, the number of games missed by Ayuk, by Christian McCaffrey this season, by Nick Bosa. I mean, your best and most expensive players have to play their best to win a lot of games in the NFL. The 49ers haven't won a lot of games, and they're a prime example.
So as you can hear from Tom, Brock is going to be going after a high-level contract. And I've already made a video on this topic, and I will continue to share the same type of thoughts and my take on this. And again, even in the thoughts and takes I have given, I have not even told you what I think Brock should be paid or what he's worth or any of these things, because the point is, it doesn't matter what you or I think he should be getting paid. It comes down to his resume, which Tom Pelissero kind of went down the list to explain, and then the market. Those are the two factors that ultimately play a part in what type of contract Brock Purdy will get paid. Just like I used the example with Brandon Ayuk. The 49ers could have had Brandon Ayuk at $26 million per year on average at one point, but by waiting, the market exploded and they had to pay the going rate, which was $30 million. They could have got him for 26, but the market is the market, and the market is what dictates this price. And so when you look at the current market right now of annual per year on average, and that's not the only way these contracts are judged, it's by guaranteed money and the in between the lines details. The average is just an easy way for us to kind of stack everything. But when you look at it, you look at guys like Trevor Lawrence, Tua Tagovailoa, Jared Goff, Justin Herbert, Kyler Murray, Jalen Hurts, Deshaun Watson, Kirk Cousins. It feels like Brock is going to potentially fall in this range. Now, he could try to go after the Dak Prescott amount to start, because let's face it, just like Tom Pelissero had mentioned, you look at the resume is better than Dak Prescott's. The resume, I think you might even make a case, could be better than Joe Burrow, who has weapon after weapon around him, and they're still struggling. Jordan Love obviously got paid after like a prove it year after just one season. And that's what the deal that he got. We see the deal that Trevor Lawrence got, the deal that Tua got, Jared Goff got. If you are looking for the 49ers to give a cost-effective contract to Brock Purdy, I would imagine you probably want to get into this range right here between Trevor and Jared. And that would be considered cost-effective based on the market. People were saying 30 million. It doesn't make sense. 30 million per year on average would have been great 3 years ago, but it's not 3 years ago. Kirk Cousins, coming off an ACL at his age, got 45. So that's just, I think, when these conversations keep happening and I see all the comments, and we totally expect the 49ers and Brock Purdy's representatives to go after the highest amount, because that's just how the game works. When everyone's saying, oh, he's worth between 30 and 40, according to who? Yes, if these contracts would have happened 2 years ago, you would be getting Brock Purdy at a much better rate than what you're going to get him at the end of this year. But again, it's not up to old numbers. It's not up to the old market rate. This is the market. This is the going rate for doing business in the NFL at the quarterback position. So ultimately, that is what the price is going to be. So all these conversations of what we think he should get, what he should get, are all kind of just us spinning in the wind, because all we have to do is reference these numbers and start to slot where we think he's going to be. And he's not going to be slotted, unfortunately, below these guys. And yeah, you see Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes down there. Yeah, they signed their deals before a lot of these guys. And that's just, again, the market. Is Tua better than Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes? No. Is Trevor Lawrence better than Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen? No. Like, look, go down the list. Is Jordan Love better than those? No. But it's the market. The market dictates the price, and that is ultimately how these negotiations will go. Those are my thoughts on it. You let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and as always, make sure to like and subscribe for more updates.